All right. Welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing today, Billy?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Today's a big day, so yeah,
Oh, big day, big Thursday.
lots
Love it.
going on.
A lot going on. You're right about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had to turn on the air conditioning today.
Yeah, it's steamy out there.
That was pretty crazy. I think it's supposed to get up to 92, and had all the fans going, but it just got too hot.
Yeah, summer just really don't have much of a spring here anymore. Summer just kind of rolls right in.
I had it on heat because I always expect to get that late push into April, May of a cold spell. Um, Yeah, but when somebody tried to turn it down, all it did was get hot in here.
Yeah.
You live, you learn. But yeah, can't wait to see my energy costs this summer. Should be awesome.
Oh, I know.
But not to worry, drill baby drill. I'll probably, like we said, be paying nothing for fuel and such.
What's weird? Gas came down like it went down to 266 on I want to say on Monday. Then it was back up to like 289 yesterday. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, and I had to put gas in somebody's car that has a nice car. Premium is still super expensive.
Oh, hell yeah.
369 or something.
Yeah.
I just did one of these, looked away. I knew it. I knew I'd be reimbursed, but that's not the point.
Yeah. Well, if you're in California, that you're happy to pay that, but
But
for
you're not
us
getting
here in
premium.
Missouri,
It's true.
yeah.
I'm still looking for that $1.89. I haven't seen it. I think I paid $2.89 yesterday. But
Yeah.
that's regular gas. That's just your
Yeah,
regular.
that's what I paid when I filled up at the old Quick Trip.
Nice. Yeah, I got to go back and look at what days of the week. Never buy gas on Fridays. Hump days usually pretty good. Mondays super for prices. So
Yeah.
back to penny pinching. Looking at some of these cuts that we talked about the other day, they don't seem to be going away. We've had a bunch of hearings with some of our elite in government. RFK Jr. was asked several questions yesterday. He just can't seem to really answer them, nor does he really want to sway anybody's vote into vaccines. So when they ask him, do you support the vaccination for measles, he didn't want to sway anybody. He didn't really want to say.
That worm has really burrowed into his brain, or what's left of that brain.
Isn't that kind of part of your job, is to kind of be the face of that administration's health policies?
It's almost like he doesn't even want the job.
I know it does seem that way.
He's just trying to get some leverage so Cheryl Hines can revive that faded career. I think Larry David still takes her call.
I'm not sure. I'm going to say not. She was a comedian though first, right? Isn't that how he knew her?
I don't know. I think she did improv, maybe in
Okay.
Chicago. Because somebody I worked with somebody that had worked with her way back when. So I don't know. All I know is that's not really a name you're going to be seeing on any big screen or small screen, I don't think.
I would agree.
And she was never that talented. I honestly, I was glad when they got rid of her on the show. She was kind of annoying.
She was. She kind of held Larry back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it just seems strange that you took this job. You really wanted this job. That's why you dropped out of the race. But then you don't want to make a decision outside of what your little comfort level is. I mean, get the MMR vaccination. Get the vaccination. If you don't want measles, get the vaccination. It's a problem right now. We have a solution. Get it. If you don't get it and you end up with measles, we don't really have a great solution for you. So,
well, the healthcare system isn't great. So yeah, you're you're damned if you do and really damned if you don't.
yeah,
And you're not damned if you do.
There's
Just
no
go
cure for it. It is a virus, and my God, that this guy couldn't even answer that question, let alone know the various departments underneath him. I worry. You know, you have him, then you have the aviation fellow, Duffy, who was on.
Oh, Lumberjack Sean. Oh, Trump was praising him. Oh, he goes up and down those street champion Lumberjack 5 years in a row. Like, the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I only remember him from Real World, but the point is, like, he also just attacks Buttigieg, attacks the past administration, and they don't really do anything. He was asked about changing his wife's departure to LaGuardia from Newark, and it just said she's really busy. Had nothing to do with that, but it's kind of a half truth that he did change it. I mean,
Oh yeah, she had an appearance she had to be at,
very
so
important.
had to get her out of the city, and yeah, it had nothing to do with safety.
Right.
How do these guys keep a straight face? I guess they're just really good at lying. They do it so much, they get a lot of practice.
Well, for sure. Christy Noem was being talked to about her budget and all the mainly more about due process and the rights of U.S. citizens. And again, she wouldn't answer anything. She kept badgering the legislator that was questioning her with, "Oh, I can't believe you support a terrorist." And then she kept
Yeah,
going.
he's first of all, he's not there. Where's the evidence that he was a terrorist? Seriously, you don't have any of that. You can't present any of that. They're
Nothing
just
in a court of law. She's just going after his domestic battery charge that nobody unless you're there knows how a domestic dispute goes down. Both parties are guilty. There's no doubt.
yeah, and yet your boss is a sexual predator.
Yeah, he ripped out his first wife's hair because he was
Yeah.
so mad about his bald surgery. He's a terrible person. I just wanted to talk about Noam real quick because she's not supporting any of our due process. She would send anybody away without a second thought because she seems like a terrible person. She again went after the congressional people that were just asking her questions. If you have that level of a job, you need to be accountable for what goes on underneath you. She didn't want that. All she kept saying was, "You support terrorists. This guy's a terrorist." The talking points are really strong with this administration, that's for sure.
Well, they stick to him.
They do. KK Caroline, same way, just gaslighting nonstop. To that point, though, Christy Noem asked for a new plane.
Well, because she needs one to go with her Wonder Woman outfit. She needs,
Oh,
preferably an invisible plate. Okay, I want everyone to see the costume.
I knew that was coming.
I
Yeah.
know, predictable.
It's funny you'd say that because, on a side note, Trump was talking about the stealth bombers, and he's on a grand stage there in the Middle East and talking about it's all in the design. And when it's in the design and only about the design, he doesn't support that because eventually people figure that out 6 months from now and that thing's no good. What are you even talking about?
I had no idea he was an aerodynamics expert, but
Super
apparently
expert.
he's very smart.
He's amazing. So Noam went about it by having the Coast Guard. Last minute, the Coast Guard added $50 million to their budget. This was all about Coast Guard safety and taking care of the Coast Guard, et cetera, et cetera. When they talked to Admiral Lundy, he had to testify as well. He wouldn't throw her under the bus. I mean, most of these guys know that the retribution's pretty strong. You saw Tulsi Gabbard fired the two guys that put out the report about how her department was dealing with leaks on the whole Venezuelan debacle. El Salvador, but these Venezuelan people that are not getting due process. We've already had 9 people die in custody of ICE. Some of these facilities are abysmal from the description. And, you don't push back against your boss, apparently. But all I wanted to point out, and this goes to the FAA as well with Duffy, that plane that she has that they want to replace is 20 years old. So they're saying this thing's archaic, et cetera, et cetera. And doing a little bit of research, small planes go for a maximum of 40 years. Private jets, about 25 years. Commercial airlines that we fly, 20 to 36 years. It seems like this might not be the best time for her to be requesting $50 million to get herself a second plane since they already have one. I don't understand why 20 years is old for her to fly on when if it's a Gulfstream, she has at least 5 years left. But we're flying on aircraft that are 30 some years old. And you're talking about hundreds of people on our flights. And in her flight, you're talking about what? 3, 4 on her little
Depends
Gulfstream?
how many costume changes she's bringing, but yeah.
It just doesn't.
A plane for all the costumes.
And it seems like they're starting to put themselves above an ordinary American citizen. So, it's okay for you to fly through Newark, but Secretary Duffy's wife cannot. She's too important. Same thing with Christy Noem. She can fly on her old Gulfstream, but she needs a new one. But you don't worry about your commercial aircrafts that we don't give a shit about, and we're cutting all kinds of funding for maintenance, etc., because
Mm-hmm.
we can, I guess.
That's what authoritarians do. It's them and everybody else. And you are not them. We are not them.
Yeah, so very upsetting that they really are starting to lose sight of caring about us.
Oh,
Um,
let's be honest. They never cared about us.
they cared about your vote.
Voters had a one night stand with Trump, and he left them with none of the promises. He left them with a hangover and herpes, and probably pregnant. So great fucking job, chumps.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just to continue on that theme, Trump still wants that plane desperately. He's going through the Gulf states, blowing everybody that he can. How hot the Saudi Arabian prince is. Now we're lifting sanctions on Syria and talking about how amazing their leadership is. Their president, who was once part of Al Qaeda, probably has the blood of many U.S. service people on his hands. Now we ingratiate him and love him. We love Qatar. They promised us 5 times their GDP, $1.2 trillion in investment in the U.S. Where's it coming from? How can you do this? You don't even have a gross domestic product to be able to do that. Are these just made up numbers?
Yeah, welcome to Trump land. Everything's made up.
They sound amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. We're all gonna be so rich. It's gonna make us all rich. Like
The golden age.
yeah, who the fuck is buying this at this point?
It's obnoxious.
I mean, they're
Walmart.
coming for Social Security. They're coming for Medicaid. They're going to re-rig Medicare. I mean, they're cutting SNAP. They're cutting anything and everything that benefits people that need it the most. So, yeah, I don't know who's following this line of bullshit anymore. I really don't. If you are literally in a cult. If you're buying this shit.
32 to 33% of us. And that plane, it turns out that Qatar's willing to give us has been in Texas for several years. I guess it's been for sale since 2020. They can't find anybody to take it. And I guess giving it to the orange guy is a pretty good write-off.
Yeah, we'll just take the write-off then.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
None of that stuff was even true. It's like crazy. It's like going to Saudi Arabia and seeing this. I mean, what in the world?
The McDonald's trailer.
And somebody was super happy to see it, I might add.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it wasn't KK Caroline. But it was Trump. He was pretty pumped up. Let's get a couple more thumbs up. Keep in mind the Crown Prince is 6 foot tall. Trump's supposed to be 6'3". Even in his lifts, he's barely making it to 6 foot. But 2 hot guys, as Trump.
Couple of hot guys.
I mean,
Jesus.
He's like, how do you sleep at night? I mean, you're so amazing. How do you even do it? I mean, you must be thinking of ways to make things better in your world. I mean, like, what is happening here? It's insane.
How many journalists have you murdered and had dismembered lately?
We don't know. We lost.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I shouldn't even put this up, but it is. She is really annoying and bothersome. She really thinks nothing of us, and that's what.
No, she doesn't. She's arrogant. She is. She's just a horrible person.
And she's all in. She totally believes everything she's saying. She's got the power of this seal behind her now, so she can really pretty much do whatever she feels like, to our detriment. Is really how
So much filler. What's she gonna do when she can't move that face?
She won't look surprised anymore.
Sure, she can't cry any longer.
Nah, what's to cry about? You got the world on a string. So some other little tidbits on what's okay for them but not okay for us. Where's Pam? Pam's back in the news always because we love. Where is she? The old Bondi. She was able to somehow she got this information ahead of time about Trump and Liberation Day. So she had some Truth Social, and she was able to sell out of about between $1 and $5 million of his shares before Liberation Day. So she ended up making a lot of money. keeping a lot of her money. And to this end, these Republicans, Josh Hawley, just finds it. He just says to your face, nobody believes that Trump can be bought.
I know. How do you keep a straight face when you say that, Jogging Josh?
I mean, you don't even have to pay him. You just have to compliment him. Syria said they would put up a statue. That was enough to get sanctions off. Big statue. I mean, what the heck?
I know, dude. He's so easily bought off.
It's crazy. As Gene always said, he just wants to be liked. Maybe the Democrats could have been a little nicer to him, and we wouldn't be in this hellhole that we're in. But Bondi saved her money. Josh is delusional, and then the next step up was going to be MTG. They're floating this, and I don't know if they're just trying to piss people off, but this was a good day here. This was the officer that put George Floyd out of commission.
Yeah, Chauvin.
Forever. Derek. This is him getting sentenced. Well, now there's talk about pardoning him.
That's fucked up.
MTG is all about it. And I start to wonder, are they looking to just create havoc? Because Walls in Minnesota is already coordinating for if this does go down, because people will be pissed. Black,
Yeah,
white,
they will.
and other. You cannot forget this visual. You cannot forget the cops that were along with him that could have just told him to stop. The guy can't fucking breathe. Stop. But that didn't happen, and now he wants to be pardoned, which the red blood MTG is all about it. But the fact of the matter is, even if they pardon him federally, his state charges aren't going anywhere. He will be out of federal prison, but he'll still be in state prison for the rest of his term. But that doesn't make me feel better that we had leadership that thought it was okay to pardon a man that murdered a guy on camera slowly over time.
Yeah, that's messed up. And, but again, this is the same president that pardoned all of those January 6th secessionists, and yeah, these people are just creating their own little rule of law, and they do whatever they want to. They're horrifically terrible people. They really are. Again, I mean, MTG's the kid that wasn't invited to the party, so she called the cops on it.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Okay, she should have been more popular. I don't know why.
I saw her high school picture. I could see why she wasn't popular. To go with that personality, I mean, just a terrible person. I'm not saying based on looks, but she just looked like a miserable kid, and she's a miserable adult and a horrible person.
And a terrible legislator. She is.
Dude, she's a joke. Yeah. She is an absolute joke. I can't believe these people vote for these idiots.
Yeah. Well, she'll probably stay in the House in her community. People seem to be all about her hatefulness, at least in her district. I wanted to jump, staying in the legislation area. This was kind of a big deal for us. This was 6 months ago. Missouri passed the amendment on Prop 3. It was a major deal. A lot of people came together. I want to say it was 57%. Now they're saying it was less. But the Republicans have a referendum to repeal what Missourians voted on a ballot. And they want to ban all abortions now except for rape and incest. And that's at 12 weeks, I might add.
Dude, it's just unbelievable. So essentially, our votes don't count here in the state of Missouri.
Yes.
I mean, it's so un-American and so unconstitutional, and it's so maddening. I mean, the people clearly came out and voted, and they spoke.
They did.
And yet you have these people. So now they're taking that away. They're taking away paid sick leave. They're taking away the living wage. Again, things which were voted on by the electorate. People came out and voted for it. And yet you have these people who, well, we're small business people. And you know what? If you pay people a living wage, that puts our business in jeopardy. Well, here's something. If you're a shitty business person and you can't pay people a living wage and give them paid sick leave, maybe you shouldn't be running a business. Maybe you don't know what you're doing.
And that's part of capitalism too, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's canceling you. You just suck at what you do.
Hmm.
and people find other work. So they use several rare procedural moves and just cut off any democratic discussion. So this wasn't a debate. This was a 21-11 vote. I do live in the supermajority of Missouri. But to cut off debate is just not allowing the democratic process to even happen,
Yeah, they're
which
not
is
interested
very
in the
unlike.
democratic process. They just want to get their way, and they'll use every hook and crook, and I emphasize crook, that they can to wedge it through. They don't give a shit about us. They don't give a shit about what the majority of voters want.
Well, it's like RFK with the inoculations. One woman, Mary Elizabeth Coleman, GOP Republican representative, said, "Abortion is the greatest tragedy in the world right now. Greatest tragedy in the world right now is abortion."
Such a tragedy. Yeah, I'm guessing the people in Gaza might have a slight disagreement
Hold
with
my
that,
beer.
or
We've got a war in Ukraine. We've got
Mhm.
climate change. Our planet's on fire. The National Weather Service is trying to fill 155 jobs before June starts, hurricane season starts, because we
2
no
weeks away.
longer, yeah, weeks away, and we no longer have the staffing to take care of it because they fired all these people.
Yeah,
This is all under the NOAA, National Oceanic
oceanic.
and Atmospheric Administration. All of this comes back to us who have to actually live on this planet. They're
Hmm.
also took out of the books. They're no longer going to track the billions in weather climate disaster. Some people are interested in what the financial costs are so we can plan for the future and maybe curb some of this. But better to just cover your eyes. You don't really need to know.
It's gonna be fine. You don't need to know. Well, here's the thing: they're not only going to stop tracking that, they are they're getting rid of all the data that they've been storing up since 1980 on those costs.
Why wouldn't you want that information moving forward?
Dude, we are going backwards so fast and so far. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it is pretty insane. So, as you said, the GOP was able to repeal, keeping the Democrats their foot on their throat, so to speak. Paid sick leave, like you said, and the cost of living increase to minimum wage, which we've talked about this in the past. We raised minimum wage $1.25, um, and they thought that was too much.
Yeah, well, and then they complain that people don't want to work. People don't want to work for the fucking peanuts that you're offering them to come in every day, even if you've got an issue with your kid, or if you're sick. They don't care. These people do
Yeah,
not care. They really do want to go back to the Gilded Age where, we held all the cards and you'll do what we say, or you can starve in the street. We don't give a fuck. But to come out and say people want to work for the
yeah.
most part. So to come out and say that people don't want to work, no, you don't want to pay people to work. That's what it comes down to.
It's true, and we've talked about this before. Sometimes what you pay in daycare or childcare doesn't equate to that crappy minimum wage job that you took.
Yeah, I mean, we have one friend who him and his wife both work, and they have one child, and basically one of their paychecks goes to cover daycare.
That's
I
about
mean,
right.
it's ridiculous. How are people supposed to, raise a child? How are they supposed it makes no sense.
And I think the people you're talking about were younger professionals,
Hmm.
because if you're looking at a job where you're not necessarily going to get paid, where you are in that minimum wage, let's call it 1375. I work for 52 weeks or whatever it is. I get my W 2. Now I'm getting taxed on that money. On top of me making nothing, I'm getting taxed on it. And now I'm under the nut of paying for childcare.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Your choices are have a ton of kids, which they want, so the kids can raise the kids, or be wealthy and don't have kids until you can afford them, which, as our poll showed Tuesday, most people are waiting on major things like that, home buying, having a child, because they simply can't afford it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're basically shackling these people to a
Does
life
that
of,
sound familiar to anything that dealing with higher education? You said shackling.
hmm yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And, and again, you're making minimum wage, yet you're still paying income tax. And, it's like Trump said, he's like, we could, it would make sense to tax the billionaires, but politically, yeah, it's not a good idea. You're better off taxing the low wager people because they're used to being poor and nobody cares. I mean, he outright said it.
Yeah,
These people do not give a shit.
yeah, and he wasn't necessarily talking about billionaires. Okay, it was the millionaires he didn't even want to tax.
Hmm.
So, um,
But yet, if you're still, if you're in the middle there, maybe you're not quite making a million. Your tax rate's going up.
absolutely, and we talked about that. Under $200,000, your taxes are going up,
Hmm.
and if you're making under 80, forget it. You're in big trouble, buddy.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It really is. To that end, Walmart did finally come out today and say that they are going to be raising prices based on the tariffs. They cannot. They can't wait any longer. It's not going to start next month. It's going to start now. So yes, we talked about this. I have seen increase in my groceries. I have seen my energy costs go up, and apparently it hasn't even started yet. So to me,
Yeah.
that's a little concern. You know what? I better turn that air conditioning off. This is ridiculous. What do I need to wear a shirt indoors for? This is insane.
Yeah, who needs it?
I better get some muscle shirts.
Well, you got the physique for it. You've been working out, so.
Geez, not the point. I'm going to jump to this here because we always like to talk about the glass as always being one or the other. Um, we have a new law in the books that we're going to take off. That was through the EPA. I don't know if you can see that, but the glass is always we're screwed and we're screwed. Forever chemicals in tap water. They're PFAs. They're also known as forever chemicals, and they're in our water. I want to say in 2024, Biden and the EPA limited 6 of these. They're called Gen X, interestingly enough.
Huh, how
And
about that?
yeah, kind of nice. But they're terrible chemicals. Let me see some of the products that those chemicals are in real quick. I mean, the whole basis of them are here's some PFAs in products, as you can see. They're resistant to water, stains, and heat. So we use them for a lot of good things: cosmetics, paint, water-resistant clothing, firefighting foams, non-stickware, which we all know about. But Trump's going after 4 of the 6 of these. It does affect about 200 million Americans across the U.S., but is it that important? I don't know. Let's look at some of the causes that you get from drinking some of this water. Cancer, that seems like a no-brainer. Liver problems, thyroid problems, birth defects, kidney disease. I could go on. None of it's good.
No,
And I don't know why you would allow that in our drinking water. It makes no sense to me.
because they don't care. They do not care
What's
about
he
us.
drinking?
Trump's drinking Diet Coke.
No water, please. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, again, it was limited under the Biden administration. There were laws put on the books just this past year, but these guys are going to try and tear all this open and just go after our drinking water next. I mean, it's just kind of insane to me.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, and here's the thing. Biden was losing it at the end, and I've definitely got an axe to grind with the way he handled it, and the way that, they tried to cover things up. But at the same time, he did a good job. That was a good administration. They were actually looking to make things better for this country. And to see everything that he, had gotten through being dismantled, it's frustrating.
It really is. And it doesn't really seem to have any purpose. I mean, it's always about the administration. It's the Trump administration. No,
This is a
wait,
Trump regime.
yeah, okay, correct. But all I was going to say is it's the way he runs it. It's all about him.
Hmm.
Under the Biden administration, the whole point, and we saw it under the Obama administration as well, is to surround yourself by smart people that can do the job, and then you oversee it. You press your thumb on what you need to when you see that. You get good advisors. You just don't get people to tell you you're right all the time, boss. Great job, boss.
Great job, boss.
Or else you end up where we are today. Biden, say what you want. Yes, I totally agree that he was losing it. Yes, he said he'd be a one-termer and then tried to hang on as he was losing his mind. Yeah, Jack Tapper came out with his stupid book that nobody cares about.
Nobody cares about Jake Tapper.
Exactly. And now he's going to be sued by that for that. And nobody's buying your stupid book anyway. we could see the president. What we didn't have to worry about was our drinking water, our heating up planet, our equal rights in business, our civil liberties. Those were things we didn't have to worry about. Whether you thought he was old and out of his mind or not, the administration was fine. Buttigieg, at the Secretary of Transportation, was making moves to fix the airlines systems, to fix roads, to work on the railroad. We don't even talk about high-speed rail anymore. Like,
no, nobody's doing that.
I mean, it'd be a great investment. You see, those trains in Japan are just off the charts. I mean, even us who aren't world travelers per se, were able to manage the rails in Italy.
Oh my God, yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, it's how people live. It's not a bad thing, and to have light rail would be phenomenal. Instead, we have the Metrolink here, and when they tried to expand out into the suburbs, people called it the Soul Train.
Oh, I know.
We don't want that, because then those people get on, they're carrying TVs and stuff that they stole. Like, who are you?
Racist suburbanites.
Yeah, it's offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, I think of the top of the administration how you want, or in this case, the regime. Trump's an awful person, and he has awful people working for him, and they'll lie to anything that he wants.
Oh yeah, they will literally do anything. He is their leader, and it's just really frustrating when you think about where we could be had the election not been not had some thumbs on the scale, so to speak. Under Harris, some of the policies that she had. I mean, you're going to see, people having more money in their pockets. You're going to see, student loan relief. You're going to see some changes in the healthcare system. I mean, price gouging, that was not going to be, allowed to fly. And now it's just to think about where we could be, where we should be, and where we are now. It's really frustrating.
Well, and you and I are old enough to remember Al Gore. I mean, that's where this all started.
Mm-hmm.
He was well aware of climate change. We could have been the leader in green energy. We could have been the ones to prosper off of all of this change that's coming with our environmental change. But instead, we figured we'd steal that election. We'd use Secretary of Harris in Florida. We'd use Jeb to dump some shit in some swamps that were mainly African-American votes. And we'll just take it to the Supreme Court. Now, who could have foreshadowed that 25 years later, the Supreme Court would literally turn our president into a king?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is. I just, man.
Mind spinning.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Another topic that's going on right now with the Supreme Court is about the 14th Amendment, which is birthright citizenship. And let me put that up real quick. They're at the Supreme Court. It started out pretty good. They talked about, both conservative and liberal justices going after these attorneys. Didn't really think that this was the place to come to the courts because it is the 14th Amendment. Yes, I guess these people are not the whitest shade, but you're born here. You're one of us. You don't have to be a shade of anything.
Well, what about all the Russians that come over here?
That's a Florida thing.
Kids.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
That was okay because they were buying Trump's lousy properties and giving him way too much value for his crap houses.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it okay. The thing that's so scary about this birthright case of the Supreme Court, yes, it is in the Constitution, it is the 14th Amendment. If you're born in the USA or naturalized, you're a naturalized citizen, you're here. But what Trump's trying to do is the end around on this one. What he really wants is to cut off these, we talked about these, the judges doing injunctions that are national, so that it puts a freeze on things. This is really what he wants to do. He wants to limit the judicial power of federal judges. Because once you do that, in the Supreme Court, the last I heard, which was 30 minutes ago, they're willing to let his law go through for now.
Yeah, for now. What does that mean for now? We're going to let the house burn for now.
Yeah, it's an attic fire right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they fucking that decision last year to,
above the law.
give him immunity was just insane.
Yeah,
And it's just, it's just maddening. It really is. John Roberts is a fucking coward and a disgrace.
yeah.
And if we actually do have a chance to tell the history of this time, because winners write history, and these motherfuckers don't seem to be going anywhere. So nothing is given that we actually will turn this around at some point. But if there is actually a recorded history of this, and we do manage to turn things around, he's going to look like shit.
I think a lot of them
He
will.
will not be. Yeah, a lot of these people will not be judged well by history if, God willing, we actually have it. So yeah, it's frustrating and it's discouraging and it's just maddening and just all of these things. It's un-American.
It really is. The three equal branches, they're just trying to do away with it. Trump thinks he knows better, but honestly, you worry about Biden's mental state. This guy's just out of his mind. I mean,
He's out of his mind. And here's the thing: it's not like Trump's some legal genius that was like, you know what? Here's how we can get around this. He's got people behind him, that people that have put a lot of thought into this, and people that have been wanting to dismantle democracy for decades.
Yeah.
The Heritage Foundation and these people. So Trump's just the face. Trump is the tip of the spear.
I just wish that we'd see less of him. I mean, that's
Oh my
really
God, yeah.
when I see him on the stage talking out of his hat. I mean, I'd rather see him asleep in the chair. It seems a lot more docile when he's asleep, and that generally puts Rubio to sleep, which then puts Bassett to sleep. And I did notice that on this trip, he's got at least 4 billionaires with him. It wasn't just Musk. Altman was there. Several other of his billionaires. I don't know that Thiel was there, but why are they all traveling on Air Force One? This dilapidated Air Force One.
Yeah, that's a disgrace.
These, Saudi countries. It seems very strange.
Yeah, just more corruption and self-dealing and self-enriching. It's just that's what you call an oligarchy.
It's not really helping any of us. I think that's probably the worst part, is that we're getting deeper and deeper into it. And, like we talked about, this Saturday is another rally here in St. Louis. It's from 12 to 3 at the Gateway Arch on the federal grounds of the Arch. And I'm hoping for a really big turnout. I know you and I are going to get down there. Maybe we can even get Vern down there. Who knows?
I'm sure Vern's in.
All right. Yeah. And I know my USPS people are interested in coming down. I have a 93-year-old neighbor who's down for coming in. She's a sign holder. And they've been through a lot of times. You take somebody that's old, they've seen the ebb and flow of this. They've seen the threats against democracy. They've seen the effects of polio, so they believe in vaccinations. Mumps, measles, come on, rubella, we eradicated that. Why would that even be on the radar? Well, 25 years later, we think maybe it doesn't need to be eradicated.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you what to do. I know it's my job, but I don't want to.
I don't really want to go down that road. I'm just going to take another shot of testosterone and go work out with my jeans on.
I'm going to go swim in this toxic water with my grandkids. Oh, and that's the other thing. Not to get off topic, but that Jesse Waters always has to defend. And they were like, hey, that water looked pretty clean to me. You could see through to the bottom. You have people swimming in these streams that are all cloudy and you don't even know what's in there. Just because the water's crystal clear doesn't mean that it's safe to drink. I've watched Naked and Afraid. I know better.
Jesse Waters is an adult, first of all. Another fake tough guy. Yeah. That guy's a fucking clown.
Well, it normalizes these things so that people see a sign that says, hey, warning, toxic water, stay out. Why? What's that sign mean to me? Jesse said, hey, are you an alpha male or a beta? Get in that water.
I don't see that guy diving in.
Yeah, exactly. And let's see about those brain-eating amoebas. I think that'd be kind of cool if RFK was in there. Maybe they already go through the wormhole that's in his brain.
That worm's just burrowing in deeper and deeper. I'm sure he'd like some company, though.
Oh, my God. Just watching him, and I did listen to several of the testimonies of our secretaries in the government, and he's probably the toughest to listen to. I mean, I'm sorry about his condition that he has, but when you use that voice and you're stalling to come up with the right answers or no answer at all, it really is even more taxing to listen to. Just, this is your job. Tell me your opinion. We can disagree and we can go from there, but don't tell me you're not going to rule one way or the other when you're the head of the department.
Yeah, dude, you didn't even read the cliff notes. You just didn't bother at all. You're just
Oh,
going
it's
to
all
show up
under
and wing it.
HHS. And they're like, well, which department? It's under this one. No, actually, it isn't under this one. It's under the one that was named for your aunt. Hello.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It is really absurd. So this is our leadership. This is why we can have faith in the system. And when we look at the top, and again, this airplane that was gifted to, now they're saying it was gifted to the American people, not just President Trump. But
when do we get to ride in it?
Well, you don't. First of all, it's going to cost $100 million to retrofit. So now we're paying for it, you and I. But you don't get a free ride because once Trump's done, it goes into his presidential library. But keep in mind, maybe there's a chance because he's going to have to think about running in 2028. He's not sure yet.
Not sure yet, yeah. But that presidential library is going to be great. It's going to be a copy of Hustler, Mein Kampf, and this broken down fucking airplane that they're foisting off on us.
Listen, if you want to see a cool display, go to Chicago, the Museum of
Science and Industry, yeah.
Science and Industry, yeah. They've got a couple of planes hanging there where you can go walk around on them and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome. It's a 727.
Do it while you can because
before they take that away too. Although I'm sure they'll probably keep the coal mine exhibit up because that's your future, kids. Getting those mines and get that coal out of there. Oh, it's gonna be great.
We're gonna have the greatest. And then when you get black lung, we'll just put your kid down in that pit. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And all due respect to coal miners, what an amazing job that they do. But do they really have to? Do we have to push people back underground and endanger their lives for minimum wage? Because we don't have unions. Fuck that. No.
Oh, yeah, fuck that.
Unions bad. Trumpy good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Listen, the miners went to war for the right to unionize. They wore red kerchiefs. They called themselves the rednecks, and literally the fucking mine owners called in the government to have a war with these guys. It was quite a struggle.
And how'd that go?
The ones with the most guns usually win, and that would be the government. But it was a valiant struggle. But people need to realize that unions are important. Workers' rights are important. When FDR came in the depths of the Depression and tried to enact the New Deal, which lifted a lot of people, they came up with a plot to kidnap him. Literally, the version of the American oligarchs. They wanted him kidnapped and taken away. And the plot was actually exposed by a Marine Corps General Smedley Butler, who is not talked about enough as an American hero. But yeah, there's nothing new. These people have been after this and wanting to take away any kind of rights and benefits for working class people and people that aren't of their socioeconomic level for over 100 years.
But there's so much more of us. Why are we not able to push back?
Because we're so completely and thoroughly divided now. And that's what I really like seeing about AOC and Bernie out there on the stump. I mean, you had people that probably did not agree on much, but at least there was one thing that they could agree on. And that's what brings us together. I mean, social media and the Musks and the Bezoses and, the Zuckerberg, these people they've had a long time to perfect this. These algorithms, they know how to keep us divided. People love to log on to Facebook and get outraged over stuff that turns out to be bullshit, first of all. But they're always looking to go after each other based on this. People seem to like being angry and divided. But, when you can get people that maybe don't have a whole lot in common, but can agree on some basic things, there's power in that. And we need to harness that. We need to overcome what is being done to us, and we're running out of time. We are running out of runway.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as we always talk about, that 2% that we can agree on, we're going to have to run with that, and we'll worry about the other stuff after, because it's our survival. They still won't come out and say that it's a right. When Bernie asked HHS, RFK Jr., is healthcare a right for all Americans? And they just it just went on, and there was no answer behind that. And the fact of the matter is that Bernie had to keep reminding him that every industrialized nation in this country, except for South Africa, has universal health care. He's like, people like private insurance better.
People hate their private insurance.
Correct.
I mean, how dumb are you?
Dumb, indifferent. I don't know. It's all the above, or just doesn't really care about them because maybe you can get good private insurance, but if you can't, and when we look at the states that have the most Medicaid enrollees, it's always red states.
Yeah.
It's the majority of people aren't able to afford private care.
Well, yeah, if you don't have it through your job.
That's right. And it's always tied to the job, right? Medicaid expansion, where in a state that passed it. That's why Hawley's got his little hackles up a little bit about this budget, because he's worried about his back. And
well, my guess is, and knowing Josh Hawley and who he is, my guess is he knows it'll go through anyway. So if he makes, a little bit of a splash and comes out against it, he can say, well, I did my part.
I think you're right.
I think he's
pretty for you guys.
Yeah, I think he's pretty disingenuous. Jogging Josh is, and I will continue to, call and leave messages there. But that is my guess, and I'm probably right, sadly, because I don't see that guy speaking up for any of us.
No, he just doesn't care, and he's another guy born on third and thinks he hit a triple. I mean, give me a break.
Doesn't even live in this state. Doesn't even bother. He flies over it once or twice.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, that's why we have to keep speaking out. We have to keep showing up, making those
Claire
calls.
McCaskill, who lived here, took a bus tour and then flew around, and she was the devil.
Oh, I know.
But the other guy lives in Virginia. He flies by once a year, and we love him. So,
yeah, it's unbelievable.
It is. It's pretty crazy that all these restrictions are on us, yet we're not gathering together, as you said, making these calls and just trying to band together to kind of push back. And that's what it's going to take. We're here.
We're going to have to. Yeah.
We're here. It's now. It can't be avoided any longer. They're chipping away slowly. And the more we don't push back, the more it pushes Trump to do more evil.
Oh, yeah. They just get emboldened. So, and, the real warning to me is a guy that we've known for years. He's an older guy. He's a Vietnam veteran. He's asking about having his passport renewed.
That was shocking. Yeah. His is expiring in a month, and he's like, I know I got to do it before it expires, so it's easier to do. But I'm like, what? This guy's almost 80. You fought in a war for this country, and you're asking me about updating your passport? That was out of left field, for one. Nobody was talking politics, for two, and wow, stunner.
Yeah, that's your canary in a coal mine moment.
I'll tell you what, that is insane. But you're right.
Yeah,
that was too much. So here we are. I will put in the show notes about the rally in St. Louis, down at the Arch.
Well, and yeah, wherever you're watching from, check your local area, because they're scheduled to be all across the country. So
it is. It's nationwide. It's a peaceful sit-in, and it just has to do with our rights. Let's get together on this and give a little bit of pushback, just so they know we actually care. You may not see it in the media, that's for sure. That might not be a thing, but when you're there, you can't help but find like-minded people, for one, and even people that are on the other side of the spectrum that are there. You're all there for a common purpose. Yeah,
we got to pull together before they pull us apart.
Yeah, and again, we're getting close to that point right now.
Yeah, and and if you go take some pictures, some of the signs are really witty and entertaining and funny, and take those pictures, post them, let people know, spread the word.
Yeah, I think so too, and we would love to see them too if you want to share. Now I have to go to stock footage, Billy, but I'm doing it. God damn it!
Do it.
Happy ending. I do have one happy ending, and it's kind of amusing to us. But there's some really long-term health benefits to walking 15 minutes after a meal. It helps your glucose levels, lowers your blood pressure, improves cholesterol, and also helps with weight management.
It burns fat.
It's something we've been practicing for a while now. And is there a catchy name to this routine?
Well, we like to call it the fart walk.
The fart walk. And now it's in international papers saying, hey, this is actually a good thing. It didn't say fart walk. It just said what to do 50 minutes after a meal to walk and all the benefits of doing that, which I thought was really, I mean, it's simple. I'm not saying that everybody's got two legs, but to get out, to get a little walk, to get some fresh air, and you get these health benefits long term, seems like a no brainer.
It does, yeah, and it is, and it's you don't need any fancy equipment, just a pair of walking shoes and a path to walk on, and bring a friend, get out there and there's a test, so you can tell there's different uh, your level of intensity, right, varies. So the way your body deals with it and amps up to create the energy to deal with that intensity varies. So when you are walking, you are in a low intensity and you're literally burning fat. You're not burning carbohydrates.
CSAP. It's a program for.
And
That's bad.
so you're literally burning carbohydrates. And a good test is if you can carry on a conversation. You might be a little bit winded, but if you can carry on a conversation as you're walking, you are in that zone where you're burning fat.
And what zone was that, 2?
That's zone 2, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, some people have it on their app when you work out, and they always track your walk, because if you don't track it, apparently it doesn't have any benefits. But if you do track it, a lot of them do show you what stages you're in of exercise.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a really good way. We've been sold this bill of goods. You've got to get out there and run. You've got to jog. You've got to sprint. And that's just, which is great,
Sure.
depending on what your goals are. But if you just want to stay healthy and, lower your risk of diabetes and bring your glucose levels down and, make your cells more sensitive to the insulin that delivers it and keeps it out of your bloodstream. Walking you can't beat walking.
For sure.
Walking and squawking, as we call it.
Yeah, and the rage walk isn't necessarily a terrible thing. You're getting two things done. You're getting all that rage out of your system, and you're becoming more healthy with long-term goals of just walking. Yeah. How simple is that?
You can't beat it.
And if you don't want to rage walk, maybe bring your earbuds, listen to some music, listen to a podcast, maybe Gen X rated, who's to say?
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I think that's a pretty happy ending. I don't know if you have anything for today.
Her biggest love.
Well, we have a big birthday dinner tonight, so that's pretty happy. Always a happy occasion.
Yeah, it should be nice. Hoping to get everybody out and have a good meal. We'll see.
Yeah.
Never been there, but I'm looking forward to it. So I'm glad you'll be joining us, Billy.
Glad to be there.
I appreciate you taking the time today to do this. I know we did hit it a little bit early because it's a full day, but glad to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep an eye on that Birthright 14th Amendment. We'll keep an eye on what Trump and his minions are doing to us next. But the bottom line is we got to stick together. We got to continue to talk to one another, get the message out there. And we appreciate any, again, subscriptions, comments. Let us know your thoughts.
And again, we're not two ladies.
Yeah, but if you want to put that in comments, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, hey, if you're taking the time to comment, then we win.
All right, Billy. Well, I will catch you later, and appreciate your time as always.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Good job.
Take care.